All right, Christopher and Dante, I want to thank you guys for joining us today for our restorative conversation between the two of you. The reason why we had this conversation, or we're having this conversation today, is because there was a conflict that I became aware of that I want to help you guys be able to resolve. It is important that we recognize that this conversation today is not the end solution to the problem that you two had. This is just a step in the peace process, meaning that the real work is what's going to happen after you guys walk away from this conversation. Because what we agree to here won't mean anything unless you guys respect what we agree to and carry that with you outside of this conversation. Does that make sense? Excellent. I do want to honor you guys for the courage that it takes to be able to want to have this conversation. It's tough for us to talk about our problems, but I find that when we talk and explain our issues in ways that make the other person feel heard, it really helps to make us feel more comfortable and safe in our learning environment moving forward. There is a particular way that I'm going to ask us to speak about what happened, and that's something called I statements. So an easy way to think about I statements is by just using the word I to describe what happened. So a lot of the times if somebody's describing something that happened to them, they're going to start by saying he did this or they did this. Instead, I want us to use the word I. And what you might say after I is something like I saw, or I heard, or I thought the other person did this. And the reason why we do that is because this conversation is not about blaming or figuring out who's at fault. The conversation is more so about being able to understand the other person's perspective. Okay? Everything makes sense? Great. From what I know about our situation, there was a conflict in class that involved a chair, that involved a marker, and somebody's pants. So could you go ahead and tell us what happened the other day?
Well, I was just trying to do my test while Dante was messing with my chair, so I couldn't do my test, which I wanted to get my grades up, but I couldn't because Dante was messing with my chair, so I got mad and ruined his pants.
Okay. And I appreciate you taking ownership there. How did it make you feel when Dante was messing with your chair?
Like, mad?
Okay. Do you want to add to that at all?
No.
Excellent. So, Dante, what do you hear Christopher talking about that caused him some concern?
No, not really anything.
Well, what was he doing, or what was the reason why he reacted in the way that he did?
Because I was playing with this chair.
Okay. All right. And do you think it would make sense for him to be mad if somebody were messing with his chair while taking a test? Okay. Now, from your perspective, can you explain what happened on that day?
So we were, Miss Gonzalez put us in chairs and like basically groups, and we were doing our test, and then I was picking his chair up because he was on the side of it and it didn't hit him or nothing, and he could have just asked me if I could put the chair down so he could sit instead of drawing on my pants.
Okay. I think that's a really great suggestion that you shared, and we'll get back to that in a moment, but how did it make you feel when Christopher reacted in that way, by drawing on your pants?
Mad.
Okay. Do you want to build on that? So we were both mad from this situation. Dante, you've already recommended something that you would have wanted instead from Christopher. What would you have wanted from Christopher in that situation to make things right?
For him to just tell me to stop playing with this chair and then he could sit down in there.
Okay. Christopher, do you think that that is a reasonable request from Dante?
Yes.
Do you remember if you had asked him at all?
I don't think so.
Okay. So how do you think he would have responded differently if you had asked him?
I don't know what response he would say.
But do you think it's worthwhile giving it a try?
Sure.
Okay. Now, what would you have wanted from Dante to know that things were right?
I don't know.
Well, we talked a little bit about what he would have wanted from you. What would you have wanted from him if you did ask him to stop?
To stop playing with my chair?
You just would have wanted him to stop playing with your chair. Good. So what I would like to do with your permission is maybe bring you guys back together in a couple of days or so and maybe check in with you one-on-one to find out how have things been going. Have you had an opportunity to maybe ask somebody to do something or to stop doing something and stuff like that? Would you be open to me checking in with you?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Guys, I'm really proud of you both for having this conversation today, and I want you to know, just again, that this is a first step in making peace between us. And I know that you guys have been friends in the past, and I want you guys to be able to get back to that point. And I'm sure you already have to a degree. So when we leave this conversation today, I don't expect you guys to be best friends because of it, because like I said, we have to respect each other and honor each other's wishes when things like this happen in the future.